Welcome to the training on how to fill out an exclusive right of sale listing agreement. Let's get started. You're going to want to log in to the MLS. And you could come here to the public records Realist. You could also use IMAP. Because we want to find the property that you want to do the listing agreement on. So we'll need to get the owner's information, the property address, and all that information so we could fill out the listing agreement. Now, if you've already done a comparable market analysis, you already know the price that you're going to set as the listing price. If you don't know how to do a comparable market analysis, see my video on how to do a comparable market analysis. Also, please like the video and hit the subscribe button on the bottom and hit the little bell so you can be updated with new videos. Okay, let's put the property address. You could also search by the owner's name. Let's go ahead and let's put this property, 19371 Sterling Drive. What was it, 19361 maybe. Miami-Dade. Okay. I have this property, 19321 Sterling Drive, Cutler Bay. Let's get the property information. Okay, we see the owner's name and all the property information up. Let's go ahead and go to Formsimplicity, which is the Florida Association of Realtors website, FAR.org. You need to log in. Once you've logged in, come here to Library. Let's go here to listing agreement, find a form. And the form that we're going to be looking for is exclusive right of sale listing agreement. And here at Green Street Realty, we're transaction brokers. Some other brokers may be a single agent, no brokerage. Well, we use transaction broker. So let's go ahead and pull that form up and start filling it out. As you can see here, we need the seller's name, so let's go back. We have Fernando, Juan F. And it seems like his wife or his sister or his mother. And we're going to start the, oh, excuse me. This doesn't go here. Goes here under seller. And the broker is your company, Green Street Realty. Some agents put their name and that's wrong. The broker is always the company, Green Street Realty in this case. Let's start the listing today. And let's do it for 6 months. So that's May, June, July, August, September, October. I always put it for the end of the month. So I know that my listings are going to be expiring at the end of the month. So at the end of the month, I start looking to see if I need to do an extension. Okay, property address. Come right up here. And we can see it's 19321 Sterling Drive. Cutler Bay, Florida. $33157. The legal description here, I just put the folio number. Which is right here. And personal property, whatever that may be, refrigerator, electric range, dishwasher, microwave, washer and dryer, and any other personal property they may have that's included in the sale. Is the property occupied or not occupied? Let's put in this case that it is occupied. Price. I already did a comparable market analysis on the property, and let's say I determined that the property is worth $400,000 and they want to sell it for $400,000. Okay? Now, this is the price that they'll accept. So let's say I put it for $400,000, but they say, Louis, I'll accept $380,000. I could list it on the MLS for $400,000, but I would put here $380,000. Because if I put $400,000 here, and they told me they would accept $380,000, and an offer comes in, let's say for $385,000, they could always say, no, I changed my mind. I want $390,000 now, or I want $400,000. So, but in this case, if something does come in for $380,000 and offer for $380,000, $385,000, they have to accept the offer or pay you your commission. What terms will they accept? Cash, conventional financing, FHA and VA. Sometimes the owner doesn't want to accept FHA or VA because the appraisals are a little bit more strict. They may have to pay some out-of-pocket closing costs, which FHA does not allow the buyer to pay, and the seller would have to assume those costs. So that's why sometimes sellers are hesitant to accept FHA or VA. But select whatever you think or whatever you discussed or negotiated with the seller. The seller's going to do financing. You can click this here. If there's an assumption of an existing mortgage, you could check that there. But if not, let's continue. Seller will pay mortgage discount or other closing costs not to exceed. I just put 0 here. Okay, this is the next. Display the property in the internet except the street address. That's if the person wants to be private. Okay, but in this case we don't put that there. Seller does not authorize broker to display the property in the internet. We just leave that in blank. If you're going to put it in the MLS or you're going to put it on the internet. If you're going to use a lockbox, you need to check this here. Okay, which the seller authorizes using a lockbox, and advise them to remove any valuables or anything they may have. So it's sort of like a little disclosure to them. Withhold verbal offers. We don't deal with verbal offers, so I always withhold verbal offers. And you could also withhold all offers once the seller accepts a sales contract, unless he wants to accept backup contracts, then you would leave that in blank. The next checkbox here says seller does not authorize an automated estimate of the market value of the listing. I always check this here because I don't want people doing automated market values of the property. Also, I check this here. Seller does not authorize third parties to write comments or reviews about the listing. I don't like people writing negative comments about the property on the internet. So I also check that there. If the seller knows about anything that materially affects the property, any violations, code violations, or anything, you could write that in this box here. If not, you could just put NA. Now, this is important here. This is about the compensation. This is the total compensation. So let's say that you're going to charge the seller 6%, and maybe you have a transaction fee that your office charges. We put here 6% of the total purchase price plus $295. Part B here, we put 0. And here, let's say the seller decides that he wants to lease the property while he's in the property. While it's selling, he says, well, now I also want to lease the property. You can put here 10% of the gross lease value as a leasing fee. Or you could put any fee that you want to put there. If you leave it 0 and he does lease the property, you're not going to get any compensation for that. Right here in this blank, this is the protection period. We usually put 6 months so that if a buyer does come and the listing agreement expires, you'll be protected for 6 months so they don't go behind your back and purchase the property. Sometimes buyers will go to the property and they'll wait till the listing agreement is over, or the seller tells them, hey, come back in 2 months, and they sell the property to that buyer. You have a 6-month protection period there. Retained deposits. We usually put here 50%. If you see that if you leave it in blank, it is 50%. Let's say a buyer puts a deposit on the property and it doesn't go through, or they default and the seller keeps the deposit, your company will be able to get 50% of that deposit. Now, usually when we put a property in the MLS, you have to cooperate with other realtors. Okay, if you don't cooperate with other realtors, then you check here, none of the above, you cannot put it in the MLS. Okay, but if you are going to put it in the MLS, you have to cooperate with other realtors. So let's say you charge us 6%, we're going to put here 3%, and it's 3 forms of buyer's agent. You have the buyer's agent, the single agent, and the non-representative. So you would put that same 3% in all 3 spaces. Cancellation fee. You want to place a cancellation fee. Okay. If the broker doesn't agree, he could void the cancellation fee, and the seller will have to pay the commission that's stated in paragraph 8. So let's say here you want to put $2,000. Whatever you think. If there's any additional terms that you've negotiated with the seller, you would write it here. If not, NA. Should put here the address of the company. Telephone number. Okay. And that's it. Save it. Put here Fernando. Whatever you want to name the transaction. And you come here to active. Pull up Fernando. Okay. Select, and then select command. You could either print it, email it. What I do is I email it to myself. Come into your email, and then from your email, you could download the form, upload it to your Google Drive, forward the email to your client. But I like to look at the form when I email it, just to make sure that everything came out all right. Just want to show you the email. Remember that if you like these videos, please hit like. Also hit the subscribe button on the bottom and activate the little bell so that you'll be updated with any new videos that I come out with. Okay, perfect. Here you can see the file, Fernando. You could forward this email straight to your client for them to sign it. You could open up the file. Save it to your Google Drive. Download it, print it. Okay, you can see how nice it looks here. Well, that's the training on how to fill out an exclusive right of sale listing agreement. Remember, hit the subscribe button so you can be updated with new videos that I come out with. Thank you. Have a great day.